on the mean streets is not for children, but an increasing number of them roam the Philippine alleys. On Profiles, we talked to Salesian priest Father Rocky Evangelista, who has made it his life's mission to get kids off the streets and into a safe, nurturing place they can call home. Tuloy Foundation sprawls over a 4.5-hectare lot in Muntinlupa. As soon as I entered its gates, I felt a sense of peace in contrast to the hustle outside. It's a space designed to feel like home, a far cry from the places Father Rocky found street children in when he first set out to help them in the early 1990s.
The first thing I did was to go out into the streets at night, from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the morning, looking for them at the most unholy places, parking lots outside of motels, hotels, nightclubs, and I saw everything that you don't like to see. And I said, I will not hit my bed anymore until I give a pillow to one child.
When it began, Tuloy was all of 12 rescued children and a ragtag team of 10 volunteers.
Then they grew by 50, 100, until in 1998, we're looking for a place. And among the places, they gave us a dump, informal dump. So what you see today here, there was nothing except snakes, skulls, killing field talk. This is no man's land.
When Tuloy moved into its current space in 2001, it was a home to 130 children and a school for 350 students. Today, it houses 250 resident children and is a school for more than 700 students. When the children come off the streets into Tuloy, what are the things that they have to learn or unlearn?
The first 4 years, I take a child from the Visoria, midnight, bath at the center, new towels, slippers, etc., hot soup, go to bed, the next day is gone, carting away what we gave him. Because for them, every adult is either a victim or an exploiter. So it takes time for them. Totoo ba ito?
He vividly remembers how tough it was to discipline the first 12 children he sent to a nearby public school.
I did nothing else and some volunteers except to go to the principal's office or to the police station, because he had 36 fights a day.
Wow.
Of 12 kids. Fast forward 20 years, with 600 kids, there were almost 3 fights. Somebody asked me, how do you rate progress? I gave this example. No more questions about progress.
These numbers may seem simple, but they're evidence of just how far Father Rocky has come since the early days of Tuloy Foundation. Less fights, less attrition, better outcomes. Father, you often refer to this place as an exclusive school. What do you mean by that?
Well, when I say it is an exclusive school, first and foremost, it is exclusively for the poor children. Ironically, if you step into this place, it doesn't look like a place for poor children. It's like an exclusive school.
Yeah.
You know, the buildings are clean enough, facilities are complete. What an exclusive school for the privileged children have, our poor children have it. When we admit a child, 3 questions. Are you poor? Do you accept you're poor? Second question, you want to do something about your life? You have a dream? The third, are you willing to obey the rules? We call it the power of choice.
Once the children have made that decision to change their lives, doors open for them. Tuloy's well-rounded curriculum, specially designed to tap the potential of every child, gives them the opportunity to regain their self-worth and discover their passions.
If you want to get the best out of the children, give them the best service.
True.
It is an equation, right?
Yeah.
And it rebuilds their dignity and self-worth, and they begin to dream.
Yeah.
When they begin to dream, I say, I got you.
Here, children once abandoned and abused rediscover their childhoods again. More importantly, they learn to dream, something they had no place for out in the streets, where their only drive was survival.
These kids, they can steal food. They can wear the same shirt for months. They can sleep in the waiting shed. Food, shelter, clothing, we provide that. That's important, but that is not what makes the child. You build their self-confidence. You open new avenues for them to express themselves. Life is also a performance. You perform. Life is a game. Life is a competition. All of these are connected with skills for life. The first corner I I look for is where do I put the football field? Because I know sports play an important role in shaping the kids, but it has to be taught not primarily to win, but as a training for having fun, respect, fair play, building friendship, building character, and winning is a result.
As I watched the kids sing, I couldn't help but feel the power of their transformation. From wayward children struggling to survive the streets, they've become young people discovering their dreams and living out their battle cry to do ordinary things extraordinarily well.
Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
The residents are the most in need, either orphan, abuse, abandon, forced child labor, dysfunctional families or cruelty at home, and other abuses. If you give them with selfless love and dedication, then sometimes it's more effective than the biological sort of connection with their parents. We don't emphasize on their poverty. We emphasize on their hunger and need for opportunities. They regain their self-worth, they begin to dream. The challenge is, they dream, tatapatin natin yan sa opportunities. You have nothing will try to give you the best. It's exactly the same question, what kind of atmosphere you want to provide for these children. Your home will give you the best. You are important. You can make it. But when he heard that I was taking care now of 12 rascals, he said, what has he done? So my father didn't talk to me for 3 years.
Father Rocky has a natural kindredness with the children at Tuloy Foundation, and it's not surprising. Like them, the struggles of growing up poor were all too familiar to him.
I come from a very lowly, poor family in a small barrio in Betis, okay, Guagua, in Pampanga. My mother was illiterate, never went to school because we were poor. My father was only second year high school. We were 6 boys, and my father had a dream. He said that we are poor, but you will all finish.
True to his promise, his father, who held jobs as a construction worker, succeeded in seeing all his sons through school and sending them into the world with lessons to live by.
It doesn't matter what you do, whether you sweep the floor or wash the plates, just be sure you're one of the best. Do not envy others and live within your means. If you see something good, become better. If you see something bad, don't do it. Never did I hear him complain.
Entering the seminary at a young age wasn't a choice he made himself. Back then, Pampangueño tradition dictated that each family volunteer a son into the priesthood.
The parish priest said to my mom, who do you give to God among the 6 boys? My mother said, oh, Marsing, that's my name, no? He might be reformed in the seminary.
Reformed by his
Yeah, because I was always in the streets. I played spider, marble, shells, all the street games.
But after 9 months in the seminary, he was sent back home.
Father said, this priest don't know nothing. What do you want to become? I want to become an engineer. So he sent me to Don Bosco, Bacolod, because that was the best technical high school for engineers at that time.
He spent his high school years at the Don Bosco Technical Institute. It was the Salesian priests that rekindled his fervor for the priesthood.
Mga pari pala, pwedeng maging masaya. They go for excursion, they were in church with us. And they were very happy.
And very human. No?
Yeah, I wanted to be one of them.
Trouble seemed to follow Father Rocky wherever he went. In the late 60s, as he was completing his licentiate for theology in Rome, he was suddenly called back to Manila by one of his superiors, calling for help as they were entangled in a dilemma brought on by civil unrest at home, the first quarter storm.
He said, you leave everything in Rome. The student councils, both in high school and in college, they were infiltrated by, the radicals. It was violent. Yeah. They would throw Molotov bombs into the school. They'll cut the telephone wires. They'll cut the power. I went to a short course on espionage. Then my superiors forgot that I was supposed to go back to Rome. So I was nailed into administration and the academe.
His career in the hallowed walls of the academe wouldn't last long, though. Being a man of faith, he left his destiny open to God's hand. Eventually, he discovered his life's mission.
I became a college president until what I call the fateful day that became a faithful day. June 23, 1993, I dreamt that I was walking, bringing a few kids looking for food at midnight. As we walked, they grew by the thousands. We sat down, the ground became green grass, and appeared before me a big brown gate, and it was a big place, beautiful. And the child said, "Father, masyado maganda. Hindi para sa amin yan. Mahirap lang kami." I woke up crying.
The dream was prophetic and moved him to dive into a role and life he never expected or prepared for, setting up Don Bosco's first center for poor children.
I volunteered. I was in the academy. I was up there, the most unexpected. And so our president said, "Lest you change your mind, you are now appointed officially." I went to my prayers and said, "Lord, if this is your will, so be it."
While he accepted this heaven-sent calling, a lot was given up in exchange.
I was dismantled. I was going to start without any money, without knowing anything, except that fateful raising of the hand. And what was the reaction? Misunderstanding. Even my own father, to have a son who is a priest and, head of something, he will be the proudest man in the barrio.
Yeah.
But when he heard that I was taking care now of 12 rascals, he said, "What has he done? Was he punished?" So my father didn't talk to me for 3 years. But I had no time to explain everything every day to everybody. And there was about what I would call a wholesome restlessness. I had to do something.
Though he never claims credit for what he's built, a significant part of what Tuloy is today is a result of Father Rocky's infectious energy and palpable compassion for distressed children that many are drawn to be part of.
I'm amazed how Father can sort of wield the baton and get all these people to work together. He has this passion, so electrifying, you get caught into it, no? You know where his heart is. He has placed his heart here. That heart is just so unstoppable.
You also have this amazing personality of being able to connect with people. Perhaps that's why now you are known as a professional beggar also.
Oh yeah, these 25 years has taught me there are more countless good people around us that you can think of. It is our fault when we don't get them. Why? Because we cannot present something that will attract these people and these resources. When you do present something and these people bring the resources, they will even be grateful to you one day.
So they want to help. The secret then is just giving them this opportunity.
The opportunity you give them, and this is now the secret of Tuloy, there has to be transparency, accountability, and teamwork. You can have people of different cuts, even belief, even personality, even education. But if you gravitate them towards something that's very focused and clear, you forget your difference. Or your differences become a positive contribution to a single and unique purpose you embrace together.
Kung hindi dahil sa Tuloy, siguro right now nasa kulungan ako or nasa libingan ako.
Within Tuloy's nurturing grounds, children who were once perceived as hopeless causes are now brimming with hope. Countless lives have been changed for the better.
Five to 6 years old po ako. napadpad po ako sa luneta, na-experience ko gumamit ng drugs like rugby, solvent. Para po makasurvive ako sa buhay ko, para makakain, nagnakaw ako.
Before Tuloy, I helped my tito to go like mag-uli in the mountains para lang may pangkain kami or may pantawid sa isang araw.
Father Rocky, when I first met him, he was like a father. Tinuruan niya kami magdesisyon ng tama para sa amin. Right now, I have a 5-year-old. I am married. May sarili akong bahay. And natupad ko rin yung pangarap ko na magkaroon ng sariling kotse.
He helped me to dream what will I be in the future. He helped me to become the very best version of myself.
Kung hindi dahil sa Tuloy, siguro right now nasa kulungan ako or nasa libingan ako.
Seeing what these young people have achieved and the discipline and drive for excellence it took to get there, it's hard to imagine the world of drugs, abuse, and crime they were once a part of.
Name all kinds of petty crimes, to abandonment, to escaping home, being abused, exploited, forced child labor. Sometimes it is the elders or parents that send them out, right? Just to bring them a little money.
Are many of them involved in crime?
When they are pushed to the survival mode, everything is connected to crimes until they become so hardened. Na yung kalus. Survival mode means I can do anything, even to kill, provided I survive.
Father Rocky has confiscated many weapons of survival from these kids and heard many heartbreaking stories of what they've had to resort to in order to survive the streets.
When you see a poor child, beyond the pity that you have for the child should be fear.
Do you think they're mature enough to be held liable for actions?
The circumstances have to be looked into first. What is pushing these children to do this? The solution to this is not primarily and only lowering the age. It is to look at the stakeholders, the parents. Is it connected to poverty, law enforcement? Why are these kids in the streets? There has to be a place where these kids know they are loved, they are given adequate care, they are given their self-worth, and they know they don't need to do that.
Father Rocky has a penchant for mottos, his latest one being Buy Out Evil. His message is clear. To get crime off the streets, we must invest in getting kids off the streets first.
Buy out evil by putting resources in places where these children, who in spite of all this, will still be liable to crime, and bring them to a place where they say, I hear, I'm not imprisoned.
A large part of that investment is in making that bet, believing that each child out there is a diamond in the rough, with the potential to shine as a productive member of society.
The wisest investment in society is to be able to form the lives of these children who otherwise would become criminals. If that child becomes a criminal because he wasn't given a chance, that child does not select his victims. It can be me, it can be my relatives. It can destroy a life. It can destroy all what we have been working for so many, many years.
At the center of Tuloy sits the serenely beautiful Chapel of the Forgiving Lord. Designed by Father Rocky himself, the structure is made of old bricks that had been thrown away. Father Rocky has a gift for spotting the hidden potential of thrown away objects and knows that most of the time, all they need is a chance.
We have a chef in Paris. We have ballet dancers. One is in Germany, one is in Paris. We have children in Four Seasons in Dubai. We have mechanics all over. We didn't put a limit to it.
You're in the business of making dreams come true, Father.
They dream for me.
They dream for you.
I give you the privilege to debate, to discuss, or even not to accept what I told you. But there's one thing, I will not give you an inch, even the shade of doubt, that I'm one of the happiest persons in this universe because of what I see.
In the most vulnerable, most abandoned, and often least trusted, the street children he's taken in, Father Rocky chooses to see hope, great potential, and something worth fighting for. As a dream weaver, giving otherwise disparaged kids the best, setting them up for success, giving them a sense of self-worth, and teaching them to dream, Father Rocky is a hero we need and long for in an increasingly treacherous, unforgiving world.